fault lines like where there's mountains and seeing UFOs and things like that, most of which are geomagnetic phenomena. That is easily found that there are fault lines. These things happen before a major earthquake and the earth is adjusting itself. Most of it is scientifically able to be understood. Right now, taking that most of the UFOs do show up on fault lines haven't been taken into science because they're two separate fields of study, and no respectable science will look at the two phenomena together. So it makes turning a UFO phenomenon difficult to understand in the light of science, because they're not going to be studied together. That's just academic politics. But most of this, if you notice, is just empirical understanding and observation. We look at how and when it works and things like that. For example, kitchen witchery. Certain types of herbs. Sage can be an aphrodisiac. It can also be used as an astringent. So is lilac, heather, lavender. People develop what you call formularies. Okay. Next step of empirical processes, they find things work, and then they start using things that are not just natural. They use prayers and poems and things of that nature that generate an emotional intent in an individual, and using symbols within society in our own culture that has a evocative effect, along with items that are also symbolic, and it may have just natural empirical properties, reactive properties, that certain emotions and certain effects, working with certain things, with certain symbols, work within a cultural context, because there's always energy involved in a cultural context, and I'll get to that, generate a magical effect. This is one reason why a lot of formularies tend to have like medieval themes or Appalachian themes, or themes that are countrified but have a cultural significance, where the symbols have and the prayers can relate to the culture. And this is folkways or pathways. Folkways are developed to understand or to use things that people have used in the past, because it's part of their culture, it's a tradition, a superstition, but it has some empirical evidence to the users and the group that actually practices it, that it has some sort of efficacy. It works. So a lot of people consider that witchcraft. No, that's cunning. That's using that may be called cunning craft, but it is not pure witchcraft. Witchcraft infers that the individual develops certain sort of abilities working with nature. Okay, but before we get there, we start talking about preternatural magic or preternatural development. And preternatural is being able to use all of your faculties, all of your part of your bodies, into a point where it's almost superhuman in capacity. If you develop your mind, you can remember more things. If you develop your mind, you can figure out puzzles. You study harder and you become better at whatever you do. You practice martial arts until it is not a thought process. It's part of your physical memory, your nerve and muscle memory. They are able to just generate from a reflex down in the ganglia in your back. The ganglia in your back develops the memory because it's been a repeated process over and over again. that all you have to do is send one signal and it becomes a cascade, a riff, if you wish. You know, that's exactly what a riff is you practice something so much and so often that it just happens. Whether it's a music, whether it's an action, whether it's the use of words, whether it's the use of dancing, martial arts, all of it becomes second nature. And you develop that second nature with a focus and an intent and an ability. You develop what would be considered preternatural abilities. Now, dealing with things that are psychic, you know, we go through some traditional spiritual exercises, which include cleansing, grounding, meditation. All these are basics. Breathing. Believe it or not, people do not know how to breathe to meditate. They do not know how to meditate because they do not understand that it's an opportunity to observe their internal abilities and their internal emotions and feelings and be able to sort them. But you've got to have a plan on how to sort them. So you have to exercise your mind how to put things into proper perspectives and proper places. How to develop visualization. How to use symbols. And how symbols can cue the mind up into doing action, sorting, and thinking. Dream work. How to develop your dreams. How to understand them. How to develop a conscious control working in your dreams. And it develops a conscious and subconscious dialogue in waking life as well. And this, working with your subconscious, you are now working with the symbols that relate to all the faculties that you need to develop spiritual or magical abilities. There's also physical processes and other things that are in other cultures. Basic yogas like hatha, pranayama yoga, how you breathe, kundalini, how you focus the energy and the feeling in your body. Qigong. Qigong is an internal process of cultivating your own energy, actually becoming aware of it and help smoothing it and help it flow. This is very useful in conjunction with Kundalini Yoga, which tries to force and work those knots out of your spiritual development up through your body. Qigong helps regulate that and accumulate more energy in the process. Other martial arts, physical exercise, repetitive actions that help ground and align your body and align your bones and your fascia. All these things help develop your preternatural abilities. You become aware of your body, your emotions, and your mind, and you sort these things out. Without your body being healthy, you have nothing. Without having your mind working and honed to its best ability, you cannot control anything. Without your emotions, you cannot remember anything, especially with your body, because it is those memories, those emotions, working with your body, generating feelings, actually helps develop psychic abilities. But if the emotions control you and they're disjointed and unbalanced, and you haven't learned how to talk with the body at that level and how to control it with your mind, it is just a collection of noise that your body keeps on doing that meets and mirrors all the things that go on in the world.